Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special late-night edition, Bowl TV After Dark special edition here, 8:30 p.m. start time for our fourth squad of the day of qualifying round number 2. I'm Mike Flanagan here joining you tonight, and I am at Strikeforce Lanes with the under-15 boys division. You can watch that on 4 different channels here on Bowl TV. I'd like to bring in Curtis Von Kruger at this time, who is joining us live as well from over at All-Star Lanes. Under 12 boys this evening, right, Curtis?
Absolutely. The energy is electric over here at All-Star Bowl. I've got boys and girls, boys on the A side, girls on the B side. You'll be able to watch 4 channels, 11 through 26. Got to catch them all like Pokemon. Going to see some good quality bowling. The back of the pattern seems pretty hot right now. It looks like people are moving in real early. Pretty surprising. A little bit different than what we've seen all day, but we got some great bowling already here, heating up at All-Star Lanes.
Same is the case here at Strikeforce. Taking off the lanes now. Action underway here in our first game of Day 2 qualifying last squad of the day. We'll take you full screen. Also, we've got 8 other streams for you. The 4 here, the 4 at Curtis's place, and then over at Western, we've got JT hanging out with under 15 girls and under 18 boys. And then over at Expo, we've got the under 15 girls with Aaron Smith. And we can go around and show you different things that are going on, as well as you can pick through 16 lanes at each bowling center. 64 total lanes for you here tonight, as we have this special edition late night live feed here for you.
It's Junior Gold After Dark.
It is. Also, joining us here in about 7 minutes is going to be Bill O'Neill. Bill O'Neill's going to join us here tonight, spend some time with us, talk a little Junior Gold.
Heck yeah. The real deal, Bill O'Neill. Eventual Hall of Famer, Bill O'Neill.
So we pick up the action here. Lanes 17 and 18, 19 and 20. We got Donald Simpkins, Tyler Brooks, Logan Michaels, Landon Johnson, and Elijah Cousins, along with Ryan Champion, Bryson Tabor, Finnegan Donald, we got Jacob Boxby, Glenn Tillman, and Maxwell Bemware. Those are our 11 players we have here, and pretty high scores here to start. We got a 172 up on the board, a 219 on the board, a possible 188, possible 235, 176, 202, 210, 182, 192, 279 out of Quinn Tillman. He's the second bowler over on the right side of your screen. And Maxwell has 213 left. So we got some scores out there already here in our U15 boys.
I'm looking around. We got a couple doubles already here at the U12. Check them out. All Stars channels 1, 2, 3, 4. Future of the sport. Man, I see a lot of balls crossing over. I think it's surprising people right now, and I think that people migrating early inside. It looks like it's going to pay off for them, but it's touching. You can't miss left. Cannot miss left.
So Jacob's got a chance to step up here in the 10th frame. Got the first hit already. Looking to max out at 193. But a possible 279 to start here for Quinn Tillman.
Yeah, looks like the second bowler on the right lane there. If my eyes doth not deceive me.
That is correct. Already posted on the board on our left pair, 172, 187, 155, 219, and 208.
You know what I'm about to do, Mr. Flanagan?
What's that?
Check out the local social media updates on your favorite social networking sites for USBC. I recommend our viewers do the same.
It's a good idea.
I'm going to play my new favorite obsession, how to celebrate a Brooklyn strike.
Yeah, that is a good one. I couldn't help but watch that about 3 or 4 times myself.
I wonder if Eli realizes that his video has been posted.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that he does.
Oh, I can't get enough of it. I just absolutely can't get enough of it.
If you have any questions for us here in the chat, we'd be more than happy to answer your questions for you. Once again, Bill O'Neill will be joining us shortly. .258, Quinn Tillman, a great start here in game number 1 here on the late night squad here at Strike Force Lanes. U15 boys. All right, 192 closes things out. We'll bring it back in to Curtis and I. Glad you're with us here tonight, watching us on Bowl TV. Game 1 in the books here from Strike Force and most of the other centers as well. At this point in time, we do have our special guest that we said would join us here this evening, all the way from Langhorne, Pennsylvania. We'd like to welcome in with enough credentials for the PBA Hall of Fame, but he's not done yet. He's around my age, actually. But let's bring him in now. Bill O'Neill, nice enough to join us. Hello, Bill.
Fellas, what's going on? Curtis, haven't seen you in a long time.
Hey, Bill.
How are you?
Good to see you, my friend. I'm doing wonderful. Good to see
Thanks
you.
for having me on.
I was bummed I didn't get to see you at the trade show. I'm sure you were pretty bummed you didn't get to make it as well, but it's good to see you here.
Yeah, that was quite an adventure. I drove to the airport, and I walked into the terminal, and I look at my phone. I'm like, hey, I checked in. Where's my boarding pass? And I looked, and I'm like, this isn't good. And I go to the desk, and long story short, my flight was delayed, and it got pushed back long enough that I missed my connection. And they said, well, we rebooked you. You're going to land at 6 p.m. Tomorrow night. I said, cool, because my flight leaves at 7 tomorrow night, so I don't know if this is going to work out.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're normally a staple here at the trade show, signing autographs all day and all night. How disappointing was it for you not to be able to be here?
Yeah, it stinks. This is one of the best events that we participate in all year. Just seeing a bunch of people that are just legitimately happy to see you all day long, and making people's day, and it's really, really cool. And I'll be back next year, and hopefully we can do a big opening ceremonies like we have in the past. Just get back to what we've done for so many years there.
Well, I will say Shannon O'Keefe did not disappoint. She was an absolute trooper there, making sure she spent time with everybody. So there was still a great presence there at the Hammer booth. So you're in good.
She's the best. She's great at what she does on and off the lanes. And, I did have to fight the urge to not send her and Tommy Jones pictures of me at my pool last Saturday while they were signing autographs all day. I did have to fight that urge. I didn't do it. I didn't want to make any enemies.
You should have sent it to TJ at least.
I'm not going to say that I didn't, but I didn't send it to Shannon.
That's good. I think
I didn't include her in the text.
Once again, we got Bill O'Neill to join us for a little bit here this evening. Bill, we really appreciate you taking some time out of your night here to join us on our late night squad. Junior Gold, you've been around it for, several years. You know a lot about this event and what it's all about. And I can't remember this, but did you ever participate in Junior Gold?
Yeah, one time. I believe it was the second Junior Gold. It was in Florida, in Orlando. Yeah, and so I did bowl that one. I think I just missed out on the junior team. I think I finished 9th, I believe.
What do you remember from it back in 1999?
I mean, obviously, it wasn't as big of a deal as it is now. There was no trade show, no registration, none of that. None of that cool stuff. But yeah, it was like one of my first experiences bowling against people from around the country, which I hadn't really had yet because I wasn't, it was before I went to college. And just to be able to see where, my ability stacked up against the best in the country. And I felt like I bowled really, really good. I didn't think I could bowl much better, and I only finished 9th. And so that kind of showed me exactly what I needed to work on and how I needed to improve my game.
Who are some of the names that you bowled against that year that went on to do great things?
Oh, we had Sean Rash, Chris Loschetter, Nathan Gore. I believe all three of those guys made the team that year. Alex Cavagnero was in there. I think he finished in the top 10. I think. Who else was in that? Somebody, I'm missing somebody. Maybe Rhino. Maybe I can't remember. But those four guys were definitely there.
You know, it's when Jim Zevahazy obviously inducted to the Hall of Fame. He had a vision for this tournament, but I don't even think he could have envisioned what this thing would turn into. And when you see that there's 1,300 bowlers in the boys U18 division, Bill, 1,300 boys in the U18 division.
Wow,
that's just staggering.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody, even in their most optimistic view of what this event could be, would have dreamed that it would turn into what it is. And I think it's great for the game. I think it's great to see how many great young players are out there, and how many kids are who are not at the level to compete to win the event come out year in and year out because they know that they, it shows them what they need to get better, and and they get to enjoy the experience out there. And it's something that's great, and I'm glad so many kids get to participate in it.
Phil, one of the interesting things for me to talk to you about here is, you guys bowl a World Series of Bowling where you bowl these animal patterns, and then it all rolls into the World Championship. You've also bowled these dual pattern events where one lane is short, one lane is long, or whatever they wanted to put out there, right? And those are true tests, bowling across multiple patterns, where you have the ability to go out to the PBA truck because you're sponsored by Hammer and you've got reps. You can drill as many balls as you want. You can make as many changes, surface changes, whatever you want to do, and you got a whole crew behind you to help you. These youth bowlers come out to this event, and they're allowed to check in 5 bowling balls, and that's it. Very strict about surface changes before they come in and bowl. And then on top of that, the first day of qualifying, they see a pattern that is not released, posted on a wall anywhere. And then they bowl on another one on day 2, day 3, day 4. And then they bowl on 3 more patterns through the advancers round and match play, and then an 8th pattern on the TV show. What do you think of that?
I think it's great. I think it teaches the youth how to be prepared, how to build a proper ball arsenal. Even though it's only 5 balls, they have to have a variety of balls in there, and it teaches them how to just read the lanes without being so hyper focused on the name of the pattern or the length or the volume. I've always been a big believer in not really looking at any of that stuff, and you just go out there and your ball will always tell you where it should be thrown. You can know within 5 or 6 shots how long the pattern is, and where the hook and the hold is. So and that's the kind of experience that you can gain doing those things, and not just trying to overanalyze a graph and trying to decide where you want to play, because you have many different variables that are going to impact where you're going to play on the lanes, and you see that on the PBA tour and a lot of other different international competitions, that the younger players are doing a lot better than they did when we were when I was coming up. When I was first starting, you weren't even really thought of it being competitive until you were 25, 26, 27. So you were out there and got your feet wet. The kids come out now, they have so much more knowledge. They have so much, just access to knowledge that we didn't have, and these type of events really, they really help that out.
I have a follow up real quick, Curtis, and then I'm gonna let you have at it with this equipment selection thing. What 5 balls would you bring if it was you getting ready to shoe up for this? Let's say this was a PBA event and it was the same format. What five balls? I don't need specifics, but just idea of what you would bring.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't go anywhere without a urethane ball these days, or you're always going to bowl on something that's super short. And it can also double as a spare ball if you can't throw it super flat, like Norm Duke or something. And so that kind of ball would always be in there. Something that's super strong cover, and then you kind of go down from there. You don't want to have balls that overlap, so you wouldn't have two urethane balls. You wouldn't have two, unless you were Jesper or something, you would have two urethane balls. But if you're, you wouldn't have two balls that are really, really weak balls with really clean covers, and you wouldn't have two balls that are really, really strong with one-dimensional type of balls. You would try to have a lot of variety in your equipment and balls that could play on multiple different patterns.
I think we had similar conversation about that, where you look at that strategy, and it's really, for this type of tournament, it's really important to manage the pocket and pick up your spares. What do you recommend, if you were preparing for this tournament, not just from an equipment standpoint, what are you doing in your mental preparation and your physical preparation to come out here and compete at the highest level as a junior?
One thing that I've been working on a lot for the past several years is, trying to treat practice as an event, as a tournament, and not just mindlessly throwing shot after shot after shot. Focus more on the quality of your practice rather than the quantity. People get too wrapped up in how many games are you bowling, how many hours are you spending in there. You make it as quality as possible. You can see right now there's 5 or 6 people on a pair. There's going to be multiple, it could be a couple minutes before you throw, another frame. So when you're practicing, do that. Sit down for a minute, then throw another shot. Put yourself in the position how you're going to be bowling in the tournament. Use a pre-shot routine. It's something that I'm really big on. It doesn't matter what the routine is, as long as you're doing it exactly the same every single time, so that you're training your body and your mind that every shot is the same. So if you need to hit to beat somebody, you need to hit to advance in the to a next round. You've already been there. You're telling your body the same as the shot that I threw in practice, the same as I threw it in the first ball of the tournament. And those are the kind of mental exercises that you have to go through, especially when you're practicing.
Pre-shot routine, I think that's something that can't be overlooked. I mean, some of the greatest players that come to mind, Shannon O'Keefe, very much a pre-shot routine individual as well. To talk about somebody that really puts a lot of focus on the quality of practice, as you kind of mentioned there. Having a plan, not just going over there, bring your shoes down, having a really kind of outlined plan as to, hey, this is what I'm going to specifically work on today and focus on these ideas and these things, and then really getting analytical with it from that point. How did I progress today? What did I do? How did I execute? And I think that's if you pull a tournament like this, it really kind of does, like you said, it highlights those areas that, hey, wait a minute, I did not hit this transition well, and I was in a corner when I found myself trying to do this.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about bowling a lot of events, not just specifically this one. But that's why I always tell everybody who asks me for advice, I'm like, practice will only take you so far. You have to get out and compete. You have to bowl as many events as possible, because you don't know where your weak spots are until you're out there, until you're out under the bright lights of any tournament. And then you can you take notes and okay, this is where I ran into trouble, so that when the next time you're in that type of environment and something happens, you have a mental logbook of like, oh, okay, I remember this particular thing didn't work, I'm going to try something else. And it's okay to fail. People have to realize that there's going to be other events, or there's always going to be another one, and you're going to fail, and you need to take those lessons and try to build on, so try to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Can we take a time real quick? I just have to take a moment. You saw Randy just throw a shot on lane, on the lane 17, and look, can we take a moment and just appreciate his hair? He's got some Troy Polamalu style hair coming out here. Just threw a shot on 17. You guys, Chris Barnes comes to mind when you talk about note taking, and it's somebody that really kind of changed the game as far as like the notes he kept from center to center. You ask him, he can tell you, hey, in 2005, I threw a shot on this lane and I noticed that it was tighter on this lane as opposed to this other lane. And he can reference that almost like an encyclopedic knowledge. And it's helped him develop over the years. How are you? Do you take detailed notes like that from center to center?
No, I probably should. I don't. His entire iPhone storage is just in his notes app. It's all the notes app. He's got all the information in there, and it really works for him. And there's a lot of good info in there because you have certain centers where topography is a big deal, and you want to know what's happening lane to lane. And there's definitely things I remember and notes I have in my head about different centers, about different parts of the center and how they play, and the way when you go to certain places, that they hook more than on certain lengths of patterns and whatnot, and you can kind of remember those things. And but that's the way Chris is with the way he approaches all aspects of the game. He is very, very analytical and very down to the quarter, half court of things. And that's not the way that I go about it, because it's not the best for me. I would get too wrapped up in it. I can't process all that information, and Chris can. And that's the beauty of sports in general, is that you go to any sport, there's people that are really successful and they do it in many, many different ways, and it's just all about what is the best way for you to succeed.
Bill, you mentioned something pretty interesting a little while ago about a practice routine and things you've been working on the last 3 years, about trying to repeat exactly what you're going to see in competition, the pace of play, not just throwing rapid fire shots, sweating like crazy. That's how a lot of us practice over the years, get as many shots in as fast as you can, because you got 2 hours at the bowl and you want to maximize that, right? I think that's pretty cool. So I was kind of thinking to myself, I guess an optimum strategy based off of what you said would be for a group of kids that all kind of run together in the same center or same area, maybe schedule some practice sessions together, similar to like teams do for the USBC, where maybe they'll put down a pattern across a couple of pairs of lanes in a bowling center and gather together and bowl a 4-game sweeper together, so to speak. But they don't have to worry about their scores. They can worry more so on their ball reaction and what they're feeling in the pace of play. I think that's an excellent suggestion by you. Does something like that sound like maybe a recipe for success?
Yeah, I mean, I think, for practice in general, you just don't want to be out there doing the same thing all the time. So anything, if you practice doing your regular routine, okay, I'm going to work on playing in between 5 and 10, then I'm going to be third, fourth hour. Now I'm going to stand in front of the ball return. You do that whole thing, and you kind of try to get good at everything, and then you can also incorporate, competitive practice, and do those things where you're putting yourself in, even though every person that wants to be really good is super competitive. And so even if you're not bowling for anything, you're not bowling for scholarship money or real money or trophies or anything, you're just out there with your buddies and you're trying to have bragging rights for the day, you're going to want to win. And that stuff, it's important, and it will help you in the long run.
So let's talk about the future of the sport a little bit here, right? So obviously this is the future of the sport. This event, these bowlers, they're getting more education online. They're getting more education from coaches. The coaching's getting better throughout the country. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. There's options for people as we all get better connected in the world through the internet and technology. My question for you here is when you came right out of college, you made a couple shows. You won a U.S. Open, and all the pros were kind of like, oh, man, here's this new kid, Bill O'Neill. He's pretty good. That's another check out of our pocket, right? And now you're, close to 20 years on tour here, and you've seen players come out of junior gold, come onto the scene, and kick your butt, So every year there's a new crop of bowlers. We saw Nair, we saw Robarge take a couple checks away from you guys. What's that like being a veteran on tour, seeing all these youth bowlers come up? And any particular story or any bowlers that have come up where you've been like, oh man, this sucks?
No, not really. I don't say like, I didn't think this guy's really good, because it's my job. I go out there every day. I'm like, it's my job to try to win. And now I got to try to beat anybody who's out there. and I work, hard to try to keep, modernizing my game and understanding how the lanes are playing and understanding what I have to do for, my own game to succeed. And, I've bowled against, the best in the world for a long time. So yeah, there's going to be times where I'm in events and I'm like, I'm just trying to get to 10th place. Like there's a ceiling on where I can be at this particular event because I see there's guys who are doing things that I can't do and I can't keep up. But when I'm in that, I don't just give up. I'm trying like, all right, maybe there's something I can pick up here to try to get better for next time. Maybe I can keep up if I can look at how they're doing a certain thing or why they're doing as well as they are, and just trying to stay ahead of them as much as possible with my knowledge of the game rather than trying to compete physically.
We have a question for you in the chat here. James asked, "Hey Bill, how did you do at Nationals this year?"
I did all right. Let's see. I bowled. I think what did I have? I had 680 something in team and 760 in doubles, and I had a bad singles. We all played left, so by the time we got to the singles, I think I had 620 in singles. We didn't do too good, but I threw away a lot of pins in the team event. They were a lot easier this year than they have been in years past. But I think I had out of the 9 games, I think I had 3 opens in the 10th frame. So.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Pick up your spares.
They were splits. Thank you, Curtis. I did. They were not makeable. Yeah. I didn't leave the 5 pin and miss it in 3 10th frames.
Well, that makes me feel a little better.
Who was your doubles partner?
I bowled with Charles Easton. He's from Michigan.
Yeah.
My team was I bowled with Jeff Fair and Ken Abner and those guys.
Yeah, that's a pretty stout team. How are you going to bowl with them in the future now, moving forward, or was that what a one-off?
Yeah, we're signed up. We're signed up again, next year, and I tell them I bowl with them every year just so I can make jokes that I'm going to start claiming them all as dependents on my taxes for bracket splits and all that.
Who did they kick off? RJ Pollard or something?
No, RJ Bowles. They kicked off Mike Wolf a couple of years ago.
Oh,
that's a sore subject for Mike. He texts me that once in a while and lets me know that he should be bowling.
He's
not. He did throw a couple gutter. He threw a couple gutter balls in the bowl with them in the team event. So I think Jeff said, "Got to get rid of the gutter balls, man. We got to get somebody who's only going to throw gutters on the spares, not the strike."
You always have fun. You gotta give Mike a little 1, 2, 3 there.
Listen, if you've been on the tours as long as we have, that's pretty much all we do. And if you can't take it at this point, you're in the wrong business.
Oh, that you got to be thick-skinned.
Yeah,
you learn that real quick.
Yeah, it didn't. When I was a rookie, it didn't take all of 1 week for Tommy and Chris and Wes and those guys to just really start picking on me. It didn't take long. So.
Your rookie year was at 2004, 2005?
05, 06.
05, 06. I remember. Yeah. I was out there at that time. I was always really impressed with how you came out, and that was the exempt field years. Different time though. How have you say modernize your game? And obviously, the best bowlers in the world are never stagnant in the things that they're seeing because this is an ever-evolving game. Aside from the two-handed phenomenon, how have you seen the game change since your rookie year in 05, 06 to now?
Yeah, so for the biggest adjustment I've made is, it's really hard to increase your rev rate. I'm not going to just show up one day and rev it like EJ and Marshall Kent, and that's not going to happen. I'm never going to be consistent enough to do that. It's not going to work out because what they do is natural to them. And so what I had to do was really get my ability to get my speed a lot lower, which I was terrible at for a long time. I threw it as hard as I could every shot, and there's so many different patterns we bowl on where I couldn't compete. And so I learned how to get a little bit slower and get my hand at the back of the ball a little bit more. And And then I had a good run for a few years in like the 09, 10, 11 range, and then I saw that back then the patterns were, they felt like they were more just super heavy in the front and really tapered off down the lane. So the back of the lane was really crisp. There was a lot of hook in the back end, and the idea was to throw it like Barnes, where you had to really get out of it soft. Get your hand up the back of it and just let the lane hook it, because overhitting it was no good. There was too much oil in the front, and they were really sharp down the lane. And now it feels like they're oiled exact opposite, where it feels like the oil's going uphill, where there's more oil in the mid lane than the front. And so now every move is left and slower, left and slower, left and slower. That's why you see a bunch of people, and if you tune in and watch the qualifying, that they're really far left and they're throwing it slow, but they're still using really aggressive balls. That we don't use a lot of really low end product, because there's just too much oil in the mid lane, and you're just constantly moving away from the hook that's in the front. And so it's a real big departure from what the lanes were like 10 years ago. And if you're just trying to go out there and do the same things you were doing, it's not going to work, because the people who are successful now, who are in their mid-20s, that's what they know the lanes to be like. So that's what their instincts are, and they don't know how to. Oh, I got to get my hand off there and just let the lane hook it, because they've never seen that on tour. So now you're going up against people who, this is what they know, and this is this is what their games are right now, and that's how they tailored them to. So you have no choice but to change the way you're viewing the pool and change your game to go with it.
Bill, you've had a nice couple of years on tour. It was, I want to say, maybe 3-4 years ago now, you were finishing sixth a lot, and the paychecks weren't really rolling in, even though you were bowling well, but you were just missing. You were on the cusp, and you spent a lot of time working on your game, particularly with your dad, and you've been able to turn it around, and you've been able to make some money on tour. This year, how would you evaluate your season so far, and what's the rest of the season look like for you?
Yeah, this season was obviously an interesting one, and as far as all the COVID stuff and the pretty shortened season, we didn't bowl as many events as we as we have in the past. And I would say it was an average season. I wasn't really all thrilled with anything that I did in particular. I had a couple of nice events where I finished the top 10 in majors, and but I set the bar a lot higher for myself than that. And I think I was at the end of the year, I finished like 12th or something in the points. So I didn't make a show until the playoff. And so I was just I was around, I was consistent, but nothing great, nothing I can really hang my hat on. And it was it was just like the one block here or there, or the couple of games here or there in match play that was really costing me the opportunity to make TV shows. But just stuff to build on. Like I said earlier, just take all those things, and when the fall comes around and I really start ramping up my training again, we'll make sure that I'm a little sharper this year. And it's possible that I just thought that I was going to continue to have the success that I had the previous 2 years, and didn't just wasn't focused enough. And I think sometimes you need to be knocked down a peg or two in order to refocus and try to add to the game a little bit.
Yeah, Bill, it seems like with the new PBA tour, with new ownership again, you've seen a couple of ownerships on tour now. It seems like there's a lot of made-for-television events that we've seen. Some of it being a product of COVID, some of it being a marketing tool, I'm sure. You were able to get a belt. You were able to win a belt from the WWE this year. What do you think about the different types of events that the tour's been having? Do you like these made-for-TV events where you get hand-selected to come and bowl some of them? What are your thoughts on that?
I do. I like them as long as they're in conjunction with a regular tour. I think it's great, and I think you watched a lot of the events in the summer that were in Portland. I think that's a perfect venue for these type of events. You have a crowd that is built for those type of things, and the players, we feed off of those people in that environment. And I love going there, and I love those type of events because it's different. It shows guys' personalities a little bit more. It gives people the opportunity to see us as, you know, more human than they would in a super quiet setting where we're bowling for titles and, you know, large chunks of money. And I think it is a cool way to show personality, and I think that's something that we need to do more of, because, you know, we need people to understand how we are as people and show our personalities, because that's what makes them connect with you on a human level.
So you got the Lucy coming up. Who are you bowling with this year?
I'm bowling with Shannon O'Keefe.
Of course.
As we have. Yeah. That's my only partner. A couple years ago, she couldn't bowl because she was going to the Pan American Games, and I sat it out. I wasn't going to try to find anybody else. That's my partner. And so, you know, we're back at it this year. It's been a few years because last year got canceled, and so we're looking forward to getting back out there.
Such a great event. We've talked about it a little bit. Donna Connors and that whole crew. It's must attend every year, and the fundraising that happens, and you get to spend a lot of time. You're anxious to get back there with the fans, maybe bowl some pro-ams and rub some elbows.
It's a great event. Everything about it, start to finish, fantastic event. Donna runs it, you know, perfect every year. She has it down to a science now, and everything about it is awesome. And all the, you know, during the pro-ams, they do all the raffles and these giveaways and everything. It's such a great cause, and it's such a great event. They always pack the place during the pro-am. It's hard to even walk around in there. It's just great to see, you know, a bowling event like that, because there isn't too many that we go to that are, you know, that are like that.
Absolutely. Always great to speak. Your mom and dad say hi, by the way. They miss you guys out there, and
we miss having them out there. How are they doing? Everybody good?
Everybody's good. They're living
Hall of Famers.
Hall of Famers, yeah.
Hall of Famers. That's awesome.
You know, we miss you. We miss you guys out there. Absolutely. You know, when you're doing it for 30 years, it's like family. You know that.
Yeah.
And you feel like you lose a little bit of your family. So it's nice.
Yeah, well, give them my best for sure. I definitely miss them out there.
Absolutely.
Mary's not out there, so I have nobody to remind me to put my entries in. You know, she was always, hey, send me the email like 2 days before the deadline, like, hey, you didn't enter. I'm like, you're right, I didn't enter. So I gotta make sure I'm on that.
Oh, absolutely.
That cost Kyle Sherman this year, not having Mary out there.
That's true. He won't make that mistake again.
No, let's hope.
What was that tournament for those people who don't know? Kyle didn't get the bowl. Tournament champion?
Yep.
Was it?
Yeah. Tournament champion.
Yep. He didn't.
He got in late, and he was on the waiting list, and just kind of just waiting with bated breath, so to speak, seeing if he would get in. And just rules are rules, and you know, every player top to bottom is subject to those rules, and you have to apply them equitably, and you know, just you got to get in there. It's like you said, you're a professional. This is your job. So, you know, tough break, but obviously, what's your off season look like after Lucy? What you got going? What are you planning on doing?
Yeah, I have Lucy coming up at the end of the month. I'm gonna bowl. I'm not gonna bowl all the summer tour events. I'm gonna bowl Chesapeake, Virginia at the end of August. I try to take a lot of the summer and spend it with the family and stuff. But my wife's a first grade teacher, so these couple months are the only real time we have to really like spend together at all. You know, especially this past year, she was super busy, and it was a lot of late nights for her working and trying to do everything virtually. And so, you know, now in the summertime, it's, you know, I kind of owe it to her and the family to, you know, be around a little bit more and not try to bowl every single event. So just some practicing here and there, and a couple of events, and then I don't know what the fall holds for us. I have no idea, but just going to keep practicing and getting ready for next year.
Phil, earlier I talked about, you know, you had a nice year where you were making some dough there. and I remember you were planning and putting in a new pool. And earlier you referenced how you were texting Tommy Jones from the pool.
Yeah.
How is the pool, and how's the family been enjoying the treat?
It's been great. Everything's been great. We, it got put in at a great time, during the middle of the pandemic because we weren't able to go anywhere. So it was nice to be able to get out there. The kids obviously love it, and they're spoiled rotten now, and they expect everything now because you got the pool. I got a basketball hoop out front for my son, so everything he asks for, he thinks he's going to get. But the pool is a nice. It's been great, to have my family and my brother and his kids and my sister-in-law over all the time and hanging out. And it's been one of the best decisions I ever made for sure.
Yeah, not only are you a full-time bowler and full-time dad, but Christy also works so much all the time, as you mentioned. Your family, are you guys done? Are you guys going to expand the fam? Have you talked about that?
I hope not. We are done as far as I'm concerned. I think as far as she's concerned, we're done. It's all done.
Call it a day.
You sound like, I'm going to be 40 in October. I don't want to. I don't want to. Eventually, I want to get our lives back at some point. I don't want to be raising children my whole life, but I love my kids. But yes, I think this is. Knock on wood, this is it.
And Gavin was throwing the ball around a little bit, the bowling ball. I saw. Is he bowling at all, or do you think he might have a trip to Junior Gold in the future?
He does everything. I can't get into he's not going to focus on one particular thing. Whatever's the hot thing in season, that's what he's into. He has no interest in bowling right now. It's summertime. We'll get back into it in the fall. He's only 8, so I don't put too much pressure on him to practice a bunch of different things. I want him to enjoy all the sports, and then as he gets a little bit older, we'll figure out what he's really, really into, and maybe go a little harder at that. But right now he's playing a summer rec basketball league. It's starting this week, and he just got done playing flag football league, and he's doing all types of different things. So he's enjoyed himself.
I got to ask about Gavin and you. Last time we had you on a podcast, it seemed like you were on everybody's podcast all the time there for about 6 months straight.
Yeah.
You were the most viewed guest anywhere. And I still think you should have taken advantage of that real estate right above your head, that wall area up there.
I'm waiting for you to sell it.
I know. I need to sell it. You see that spot, Curtis? It's an amazing piece of real estate. He was on every show.
It's like NASCAR hood. It's ready for advertisement. Come on.
You should at least put the belt up there or something. Mount it right up there.
You know what? That wouldn't be a bad idea. Except the problem is so I'm sitting at the bar in my basement, so nobody sees this. Nobody, whatever. The only people that see this part of the wall is from the computer screen. So I don't know. I'm thinking about putting the belt right. See, I have 2 trophy cases, built-in cases right there. So I'm thinking of the piece of the wall there that the belt would fit right in between and hang there. So I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, that would work. But look at that.
See what I'm saying there?
Yeah, that is nice real estate, though, right there. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So I got to ask about the Philadelphia 76ers. For those that don't know, Bill is a huge 76ers fan. His son Gavin is as well. They go crazy over the 76ers this year. Things were kind of cruising along. Doc Rivers, you guys had Tobias Harris. You had Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons, who beat Donovan Mitchell out for Rookie of the Year because he's just so good, right? Beat my man Donovan Mitchell. And what happened to the Sixers this year, buddy?
Same thing that happened to the Jazz, man. Just same thing that happens every year.
Ben Simmons can't score in the playoffs.
There's a lot going on there, but I've said it for a long time, and I'm not, I'm certainly no front office executive basketball guy, but it would seem to me in this day and age you would need somebody who can dribble the ball and shoot the ball, and the Sixers haven't had a player like that in a long time. And a lot of the other teams in the NBA have multiple of those guys. You got the Suns have a couple of those guys right now. The Jazz got a few. The Bucks got a couple. We don't have any. And so we probably should try to look for a guy who can dribble, is a little quick, and also when no one is around him, then shoot the ball. That would be my advice on a player to get.
So in your opinion, you're putting you on the spot. What do the Sixers need to do in the off seasons? Is Ben Simmons a member of the Philadelphia 76ers next year?
It doesn't seem like it. I mean, there was another report that came out today that it doesn't seem like it. I wouldn't trade him unless they get something of value back. You can't trade him for nothing. He is valuable. It's just his flaws show up in the playoffs, and I think the absolute best case scenario is my man in Portland, Dame Lillard, out of Portland. He would have to demand a trade, and then the Sixers swoop in, and that's it. That's the 1% chance thing that could happen that would really turn. But I mean, Joel Embiid's 27. He's got tons of injuries and stuff. That he's 7 foot, 280 pounds. There's shelf life for the guys like that, and he's one of the best players in the league, and you got to try to take advantage of what you got there. And you got to try to swing for the fences and go for it, because you don't know when you'll get a player that good again.
Playoff basketball is the best, man. I was going to text you, during the playoffs, but I just figured I'd get it coming back my way with the Jazz, so I just kind of left it alone.
I mean, listen, the Sixers and the Jazz are built very differently, but they're the same team. They're the same team. Yeah. They're like literally the exact opposite. Like fundamentally, as the way they play basketball, the Jazz like to shoot a lot of threes. The Sixers play inside, but their mental makeup is exactly the same, and they go out the same way every year.
Certainly seems that way. Hey, everybody, if you haven't noticed, we've been talking things over with Bill O'Neill, myself, and Curtis Von Kruger for our special late night edition, Junior Gold After Dark, so to speak, as we've got our 8:30 squad. We've been streaming 4 squads a day, Bill. We start at 7 a.m., so it's been a real treat to be able to have you stay on with us for a little while. It's certainly been enjoyable. As we look at the competition in front of us here, and you see all these youth bowlers, do you think bowling is growing in popularity, staying still, or less people are bowling? What do you see in your travels?
I think we have to view it not just the vacuum of bowling and the sheer numbers. You look at all sports really, and everything is kind of going down in the participation level with kids playing everything, because everybody is playing everything. There's more sports that pop up. More people are playing, lacrosse than they did when I was younger, and soccer and all these things. So kids are getting divided all over the place, and so from the sheer numbers, it may not seem as good as it was in the 90s, but I feel like competitively and at a higher level, it is certainly growing, and it feels like that there's a lot of interest. At the youth level, and this event is proof positive of that. How many thousands of kids show up to this event every year, and want to travel all over the country to try to compete. And I think it is growing. I think that the education level is getting a lot higher, and I think they did a great job of making sure that they're starting these events, and it's an uphill climb to get bowling back, to a point to where we want it to be. And you see a lot of leagues. Everybody is just 300 after 300, and they're very spoiled now. And they will never. It's very, very hard to go to a point where 220 is a good score again. But when you started at the youth level like this, these kids don't really know how shots are. They only bowl in these type of conditions. Wherever they go, they're hard, they're competitive, they're 2-to-1 ratios, and they're not easy. And I think starting that from this point and getting the kids, and as they grow into adults, accustomed to this being what bowling is, and not just going out there and having 8 boards a room at the break point is a great way to try to grow the game for the future.
Yeah, three things really. We had the invention of synthetic lanes, then we had the idea of sport bowling versus house bowling, and now we're seeing string pin setters. being installed more and more in droves. Have you had an opportunity to bowl on string pin setters?
I have not. I haven't thrown on them yet. I know next to nothing about them other than that they're on strings, and that's my extent of knowledge on the string pin setters. I'm open to anything. I'm not going to tell you I like it or dislike it. I haven't had a chance to bowl on it at all. But I'm sure there's a lot of centers that it's cost effective to put them in, and if that enables a center to open or to stay open, then that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I like what you just said there. When I was at Bowl Expo, I was working the event. I had a chance to talk to the U.S. Bowling Corporation, Cubica AMF, as well as Brunswick about their string machines. And all of their installs moving forward that are on the books were all string machines, no free fall at all. So I believe the string bowling movement is coming, and I believe it's going to be something that it just becomes normalcy in bowling. But I like what you said about if it gives the opportunity to keep the bowling center open, or even as I said on a podcast earlier today, think about someone that wants to open a bar restaurant with some entertainment also inside. And currently right now, maybe they're deciding on laser tag, or maybe they're thinking about miniature golf or some other sort of thing. Maybe that real estate will go to bowling because they don't have to hire a mechanic at a high wage, stock as many parts. And if it's seamless and much more easy to take care of, that could be a bright spot in bowling, very much so.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess it remains to be seen how that'll affect like tournament competition and if it ever goes into a professional level and how those things how it works and how that changes the game. But I think if you're talking strictly on a recreational level and in fun centers, like you said, with laser tag and all those types of things and arcades, and you have 8 or 10 lanes of string bowling, and if that can get people into bowling in general, then it's a good thing.
I agree. It's been nice talking things over with you here, Bill. Curtis, you got anything else for Bill?
No, I just I appreciate you spending the time with me. It's great to have you on the broadcast, and always a pleasure to speak with you and spend some time picking your brain. Obviously, you're one of the best to do it out there, and we're lucky to have you on the broadcast, so we really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I miss seeing you guys in person, and hopefully I run into you guys somewhere soon.
Absolutely. That's my hope as well.
Good luck in the off season with the Sixers. Enjoy the pool. Tell the family we said hi, and we will see you down the road. And again, from all of us here at Bowl TV, we really do appreciate the time, Bill.
All right, thanks, guys. Good luck to all the youth out there. Hope everybody has a great time this week. Enjoy it.
That's Bill O'Neill, everybody, joining us here on the broadcast. Take you full screen here as we get ready to go into our last game of competition, game number 4. Mike Flanagan, Curtis Von Kruger back with you here. And we just got done spending time with Bill O'Neill. We certainly do appreciate Bill O'Neill and his time and spending some time. Hopefully you enjoyed hearing Bill O'Neill's outlook on several different things regarding this event, what's going on in his life, his game, and then, of course, a few of the questions there at the end that I wanted to ask him about that were going on in the industry, the hot topics, so to speak. So hopefully you enjoyed that mini podcast in the middle of Junior Gold for this late night edition. Curtis, any takeaways from what Bill had to say that stuck out to you?
It goes to highlight the importance of having events like this. I think you have to really separate bowling into 2 camps, right? You have the recreational side, and then you have the competitive side, and they're truly, not the same thing. You always hope that you're converting people from the rec side to the competitive side. But I find that the people who are entering that competitive side are doing it in a different mechanism. And events like this, events like PBA Junior now, and events like Team Masters, really they grow this subculture of bowling, and you can see how it affected and impacted even, Bill only bowled it one time, he said, but it still stands as an event that helped shape and mold his game. And so it's commendable to see that we're investing so many resources and so many hours into trying to provide this type of experience. And you're right, not everybody here is going to be competitive and know that they're going to come here and have a shot to win. But it's the memories you form, it's the friendships you forge, it's the relationships you build that really do make this event very special. And it's really nice to see guys like Bill recognize that. He's such a great ambassador of the game and really loves to spend time out there with people. And so really happy to have him on the show and pick a future Hall of Famer's brain for just a few minutes.
Yeah, I like his human side as much as his professional side as well.
Absolutely.
Always gives us a peek in at what's going on in his life. But right here, Curtis, after 2 games of qualifying, Quinn Tillman, who we saw bowl 258, the opening game right here on our live stream, he's leading the squad after 2 games. He bowled 258, 174 for 432. Tavares Pearson bowled 180, 246 to be 426 for 26 over. Ethan Bogle is in third at 24 over. Braden McDonough in fourth at +8. At +7 in fifth is Michael Thompson. In sixth is Nicholas Trentler. He is even. So those are your players that are even or plus on this squad, followed by Josh Evans, Caleb Reeves, Ryan Corley, Spiro Shank, and Ryan Murr round out your top 10 on this squad here that we've been watching from Strike Force.
I've seen some really good bowling over there. It's been impressive. Had some really good bowlers come through here. Go ahead and make sure you check it out. There is a bowler bowling on, I believe it is lane 17 and 18 right now. He goes by Mr. 300, and his name's Kai. Check him out. You got to check him out. You got to check out how he throws the ball.
What camera is that? I'll go ahead and switch over.
17 and 18. He's got that Fagan-esque kind of swing plane. Had a really great game last game. Struggling a little bit this game, but there's some quality bowlers on 17 and 18. Really like how he throws the ball. So yeah, take the opportunity to check it out. And these kids go through it. You got some players already entering the 4th game right now.
Yeah, we're going into game number 4 over here as well.
That Bill O'Neill interview, man, that just made the night just swim by, just absolutely blazing speed.
Okay, I think I'm on the correct pair.
You got Rush coming up here. He's going to be bowling on lane 17 here in a second. Like how he's working on 4-bagger right now. Let's see if he can continue that streak. See that young man in the blue and white with the green letters. Rush Steen look how he throws the ball. Looking stylish too. Get up. Oh, push. All right, out of trouble there. The question now becomes, can you pick up your spare?
Throws it real good.
Yeah, he does. This whole pair right here on 17 and 18 does a pretty good job. And you'll see, you're going to see Kai, Mr. 300, coming up after Rush here. So I really like how he throws the ball. Nice spare conversion. Textbook cross lane, flatten it out, picking up that 10-pin straight back. I mentioned earlier the tip that Walter A. Williams Jr. always made was play low score. Try to get 20 for your entire game. Taking the 10 and the 7 straight back each shot. That'll tell you how good you are at shooting spares. Oh, there's Kai. Oh, he sticks at the foul line, but he still sends some swishers around, gets the carry. I like the confidence. Mr. 300. Love it.
Oh, absolutely.
But you see, he has some logoing on his shirt. He's a part of another elite kind of styled youth tour. You see the youth tours popping up all over the place, and they're kind of acting as a feeding ground for tournaments like this, preparing them to take that next step in their career. So, it really is nice to see a pipeline really start to solidify itself from the youth level to the collegiate level to the professional level. And it'll only, again, continue to build and grow this talent as they become, like Bill said, the players nowadays are way more, you got your Chris Vise and people like that, way more prepared at a younger age to perform out on the tour. Back in the 90s, I always like to say back in the day, you spent your first 4 or 5 years out on tour just taking your lumps, paying your dues. And now it's not like that. Guys are ready to go out there day one, make money, make shows, win titles. So I think these elite level tournaments at a youth level are obviously the explosion of collegiate bowling over the last couple of decades is what you can point to say that's a direct result.
Again, I think this is my favorite division to watch just because of it's unbelievable to think these kids throw it this good at this age. Folks, let's take a minute to run down what we have in store for you the rest of the week here from the 2021 Junior Gold Championships here in Indianapolis, Indiana. The Junior Gold Championships are taking place in more than just the 4 centers, and we understand that where we are set up streaming, but this is the most amount of streams that we've ever done at Junior Gold. And we're working hard to bring you as many, many games as we possibly can. $64 lanes streamed. 4 squads a day. Our motto here behind the scenes is no squads off. We bring it to you each and every squad. And remember, as we make cuts and the field becomes more manageable, we will be covering more lanes down the stretch and all of the match plays for all of the divisions, as well as our stepladder finals coming up Saturday. You're not going to want to miss it. Junior Gold, under 12, under 15, and under 18 divisions. And last week we had our under 20 girls and boys finals. And those, if they're not up already, they will be up on our YouTube channel soon to view. Of course, archived here on Bull TV. If you'd like to check the standings of this event, you can head over to bowl.com. You can click on youth, and you can go to the Junior Gold Championships, and you can click on results. There's also a squad schedule over there that lists all of the information that you would want to know about which squads are bowling where each day. And then if you're in our Bowl TV window currently, you can look over on the right-hand side just above the chat, and the middle icon, it looks like a greater than to the right with a / and then a greater than to the left. You click on that, that's going to give you all the links right there. That is your best friend as you watch Bowl TV to go and find all the results, all the different information for the event. You can also follow us on Facebook at USBC Youth Bowling for youth bowling updates, on Twitter at youth_bowling, on Instagram, youth_bowling, and on Snapchat as well, youth_bowling. find out information about all of the youth stuff going on. You may already follow the United States Bowling Congress on all those platforms, but if you want more youth-oriented content, make sure you follow those accounts. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Bowl TV on YouTube. We'd love to have you over there as we publish additional content there as well. We start each day at 7 a.m. Eastern with our first squad, our opening squad for the day. We come back every single day at 11:30. Then we come back and join you at 4, and then again on a squad like this one at 8:30. If you're trying to watch your family member, loved one, or just a fan of any particular bowler, I suggest you reach out to the bowler when they get to the bowling center, find out what lanes they're going to be on, what their skip procedure is. They can look behind the lanes and see where we have cameras. In this particular bowling center right here, we have 30 lanes in play, and 16 of them covered with cameras. And with their skip procedure of skipping 3 lanes, you'll see just about everyone for 2 of the games. It's just after 10 o'clock here on the East Coast. I want to say hello to our West Coast audience and everyone in between. We know it's an early start for those of you on the West Coast, so those of you that have been joining us early in the morning on the West Coast, we thank you. For those of you that are still joining us here tonight on the East Coast, I know we're competing with the MLB All-Star Game tonight, but we thank you choosing Bowl TV. Many of you tech-savvy folks out there I know are watching Bowl TV on your laptop. Or you might be streaming this to your big screen TV and watching the All-Star Game on your phone or on your laptop. Looks like to be a beautiful night in Colorado for the All-Star Game, by the way, those of you that are baseball fans. We did post a few highlights today. If you're late to the party or maybe you had a long day at work, over on the USBC social media accounts as well as over on YouTube. Best place to probably go right now for the short format videos is on Instagram. You can check us out. Got some pretty hysterical and fun oddities that happened today by some of our youth competitors. As well as, if you missed it yesterday, Jillian Martin, the phenom from Stowe, Ohio, who we've been talking about for quite some time now with all of her accolades and how amazing she is and the talent that she has at such a young age. Pretty amazing. She had never bowled a 300 game before coming into this event. Well, she took care of that on day 1 of qualifying yesterday. And as part of a documentary that we're putting together with Jillian this week, we happen to have her mic'd up, and that video is available over on our YouTube channel right now at Bowl TV. So you definitely want to check that one out. A very cool moment for young Jillian Martin. She'll be here Thursday at 4 p.m. So if you would like to watch her compete here at Junior Gold, you can tune in Thursday at 4 o'clock. She'll be at Strike Force right here where I'm sitting and where we've been streaming most of the night on our featured pairs. We're showing All-Star lanes at the time right now where Curtis Von Kruger is set up shop.
Yes, sir.
We're in the final game of competition, game 4 of 4. Then we'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with the full crew. Aaron Smith, Curtis Von Kruger, Jason Thomas, and myself to kick off the 3rd round of qualifying.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, 3rd round, man.
the picture's starting to take shape, starting to get a real sense of who's in it, and you know, I really see the third day as it's the moving and shaking day. You know, if you're sitting there outside of the cut looking in, it's time to make some bold moves. It's time to try some new things if you haven't been scoring as well, and give yourself a chance. You know, if you're on the top of the leaderboards, if you're inside that cut already, it's about staying patient and trying to you know, do what's gotten you there, do what's made you successful throughout the week, and don't get ahead of yourself. Stay in the moment, and just try to capitalize on what you're doing. And I'm excited to see the U12 division. I want to see Mateo Quintero again tomorrow and Joss Bowl. They are definitely at the top of the leaderboard here in the U12 division, and they're a lot of fun to watch. We'll have some more of them tomorrow as well. So lots of exciting things happening here on Bowl TV all day.
Going to take you back over here to strike course, lane 17 through 20. Got some scores posted on the board on the right side of your screen. You got 136, 131, 183, 159, 135. And a bit of an anomaly here. You got a possible 238, second ball in the 10th for Nicholas Trenter. Nicholas, after 2 games, both games of 195 and 205, very consistent. And he's going to be in the 230s this game. Next door, we got Josh Sawyer. Bryce Thomas. Harcourt husband. Matthew Logan. and Jonathan Hendershot. Nice shot there. Nice shot by Hendershot. I believe Jillian Martin's on squad 19. So if I go to the Junior Gold Championship page, and I go to the full Junior Gold schedule, which I will post in the chat as a link right now. You go down to event schedule and you scroll down to tomorrow, which is Wednesday the 14th, which happens to be my older brother's birthday as well. Let's see. July 14th, squad 19 bowls at Championship Lanes at 8:30 p.m. And we will not be at Championship Lanes. Thursday, squad 19 bowls right here at 4 p.m. Strike Force. And then remember, Friday, the advancers round will be at Western, and that'll be streamed. All advancers round will be streamed from Expo, Western, Strike Force. So we'll have it all for you. Have it all. Hopefully that helps.
I did sign it. Put on your What?
And they are wrapping up here at All-Star. I've got one or two more. I think I got one more pair in action. Lanes 11 and 12. And other than that, it is a early wrap here. Less than 2 hours to bowl 4 games. Actually took them about an hour and 45 minutes. They don't mess around.
Yes, sir. And I've just got about 4 or 5 frames left here as well at Strike Force, and that'll call it a wrap for Tuesday, July 13th from Junior Gold.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah, I believe
we have a video.
Yeah, let's bring in our field correspondent, our own regular John Wayne himself, our own Zorro, our own Billy Crystal, our own Shane, our own Clint Eastwood. How the West was won by Jason Thomas. Wow, wow. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome, JT.
Well, hello, Pilgrim. Yeah, you guys talked about something being exciting, but I don't think you quite understand the meaning of exciting until you've seen this video clip.
Wow, that is quite a setup there, JT.
It is. I was told that this gentleman had a string of strikes going, and I walked down there and kind of got the buzz. There were a bunch of people behind him. You'll see them in the video. The buzz going around was this was his would be his first 300 game certified. He's been close a bunch of times, and I'll just let you watch the video. It speaks for itself.
Let's see this thing.
Ian Kane, is that the video?
That's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy Ian Kane.
Get off! Get off! Get off! Get off!
Oh man.
What a great moment that was. My immediate takeaway is energy, awesome jersey, and he looks a little bit like Robert Smith to me.
He does.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a young Robert Smith. Absolutely.
He
Throws
did.
the ball. he can
Fired
fight.
it. Yeah. No, I mean that's your first 300 game. I mean, that's how you should feel, right? I mean, when you get your first 300 game, it should come in a situation like that. I mean, we've become so desensitized to 300 games where, I've bowled league where, there have been 6 300 games in the night, and I didn't even know until after the league was over. Everybody knew in this building that happened.
To do it on this level, I mean, it's how you draw it up. It's when you're in your practice shots, and you're pretending like you're stepping up in the 10th and you're about to throw the 3. This is, the type of environment you want to do it in, and it's got to make it extra special. And the poop emoji hat just sends it over the
Oh man, it was just so cool. I mean, you could see his hand shaking over the dryer on that last shot. I
love the moment he takes. He kind of bends down and takes that moment of breath to kind of drive it to calm his nerves down. You could see that he was he's trying to fight not only the condition of the shot, but the nerve and the emotion of the moment.
Yeah, no, that was cool stuff. I've seen a lot of 300 games in my life. I've seen some of the most iconic 300 games that have been bowled in the sport in person. And that was one of the coolest. That was in my top 5 right there.
Oh man. I'll tell you, I'll give you one of my top 5. Dasha Kovalova.
I was there. That was a great one. Yeah.
That was her mom's in the crowd. You got all of her college buddies in the crowd. It's a big moment. It's against the GOAT, you know. Just that one's pretty special. And like you, I've been around for a couple of the televised 300s, one or two.
Yeah.
So, but no, that.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool. It was cool. I mean, I was at Francois Lavoie's at the U.S. Open, but contrast his reaction to that reaction. It's just so refreshing. I mean, not that I love Francois Lavoie. He's one of my favorite people to talk to.
Absolutely.
And his attitude is, hey, act like you've been in the end zone before when you score a touchdown, right? I mean, he's just all business. Whereas this is, just pure emotion, right? It's just what you love to see. And, that's what this event's all about. And it was just cool to be down there and get to film it.
No, you relish these moments and the jobs that, and what we do. You those are the moments you really look forward to. And the moment was even bigger than the black cloud that Flanagan is dispersed across the city. So we're fortunate there.
He's done. He's taking his headset off. He's not listening to you.
He's tapping out. Well, speaking of done, we're pretty much done here at All-Star. Ready for another morning and afternoon and evening of bowling here tomorrow. Got more U12 coming your way. Full day of coverage once again. Some interesting lane play this evening though, and interested to see what they're going to be competing on tomorrow.
We'll see. Judging by if you follow what happened last week in the U20s, it will be a trickier pattern. There were some opportunities to score today and yesterday. I'm sure there will be tomorrow as well. But Nick Hoagland has a way of making you think and putting some landmines out there for you if you don't have a good strategy and have your execution be at the highest possible level.
Yeah, he's a master at work. I'll say that.
Ryan Champion bowled 265 here, guys. To let you know, Ryan Champion.
That is a nice way to finish the night for sure.
After 2 games, he had bowled 168, 180. I don't know what he had game 3, but 260 the last game, certainly. Great way to finish.
Help you go to bed a little easier.
Absolutely.
Although I don't know if you're going to be able to get to sleep, Jason. You absorbed all that energy.
I know.
You're probably buzzing right now.
Yeah, I am. It was a jolt, and we'll get that video out on social. And I imagine that one's going to get a lot of play.
As it should.
I mean, we had Jillian Martin bowl her first 300 game this week, but to me that one had an air of inevitability about it, right? We knew that it was going to happen.
Yeah. Again, I think it surprised people that it hadn't happened. I think that was the big surprise in that video.
Right. And her reaction was just as great, in her way. She was the woohoos after each one struck. That was so cool.
Yeah, I think Jillian is one of those players she's going to keep it pretty cool, calm, and collected. So what you got out of her was about as excited as she's going to get, because she tries to kind of keep it even keeled. So, Jason.
Yes, sir.
you got two schools of thought, right? You got the Pete Weber school of thought. You feed on the emotion. You really you just give into it like the dark side, right? You let it drive you, and then you've got the no emotion, just go up there, you execute, come back, act like you've been there before. Which one do you think is better? Do you think one is better than the other? Do you think one has an advantage over the other?
I don't know. It just depends on, I think, your own personality. You have to, I always say this, the most important thing at the professional level is understanding how to manage your physical execution when your body's feeling things that it's not used to feeling. And so if getting pumped up is something that, is in the normal realm for you, I mean, I think what this Ian Kane did was great. He had the huge reaction after the 11th strike with the big messenger. And then he took a second to try to calm himself down for that last shot. And, obviously this is his first 300 game, but that was a very experienced move. He got himself back under control, calmed himself down, and made a really great shot there for the 300 game. And I'll tell you a funny story. I had it took me a while to get my first 300. I had many chances with the front 11 before I finally got it. And I'll tell you what I left the first 5 times I had the front 11. The first time I left a 1-2-4-10. The next time I left a 2-8-10. Then I left a ring 10 that should have struck. I still to this day don't know how it didn't strike. Left a blower 7 and a 4-pin before I got my first 300 game.
You just kind of crept up and deeper into the pocket.
I did, yeah, exactly. I did, and the first 2 shots at it, the first one was terrible, and the thought process was, I knew I was going to be nervous, so I said, well, I'll just go really fast so I won't feel the nerves. And I went fast, all right. I threw it so hard I missed the head pin.
Yeah, you threw it out the window.
And then the second time was the lanes were hooking a lot, and I had the ability to be very aggressive, and I was just a little amped up and threw it a little hard in 2-8-10, but it was a good shot. I thought it was a good shot. And then I figured out how to calm myself down, and the next 3 were really good. And then the next time I had it, I got the 300 and was able to be fortunate enough to bowl many cents. But it's all about knowing how you're going to feel in that situation and getting used to the nerves and how to slow yourself down and keep your process the same.
Bill O'Neill talked about that. Talked about that pre-shot routine and how important that is. And we talk a little bit about Shannon O'Keefe. She's a big proponent of that pre-shot routine, keeping things consistent. So you can kind of fall back on that. Hey, if I execute this way, good things are going to happen. And not all the time, but the process leads to results. And I think that's sometimes a hard lesson for people to learn, but the quicker you can learn it, the better.
Absolutely.
Fellas, last pair finished up over here for me. How we doing over there?
This is the last ball you're about to see right here. Got scores posted 198, 188, 207, 146. And with count here. Oh, that was the count. 158. Final score.
Well, I think I was really happy to get to watch that here at the end of the day. I think the story of the day was, celebrating, right? Celebrating your Brooklyn Strikes, celebrating your 300 games. And we're midway through qualifying. Tomorrow's going to be moving day. This is when, things start to get serious. This is, I think pretty much everybody in the field at this point knows, if I don't get it going tomorrow, I'm not going to be around for the rest of the tournament. And so it's a big day. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. But I think today the the message was fun and celebration.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had a good one today, and I want to thank Bill O'Neill for spending some time with us tonight on this After Dark broadcast. Hopefully everybody enjoyed spending some time with us tonight. JT, thank you for all that you've done here today from Western Bowl and all the coverage and all the media support that we've been able to put out there to be able to cover this great event with so many bowlers. Curtis, thank you, sir, for all of your work that you've done as well over there, holding down the U12s and assisting me this evening here on this late night broadcast. And to our man, Aaron Smith, who was not on with us tonight, but has been working all evening and been with us basically, as we called earlier yesterday, our big toe. We appreciate all that Aaron Smith has done, and all the volunteers here as well, and the staff on site working amongst all the bowling centers, all the proprietors, and all of their employees. This thing takes an army to pull off, and we've got some good folks doing so. So that's going to do it for tonight's coverage for us three guys. Again, we want to thank Bill O'Neill for joining us this evening. We want to thank the BPAA and the BPAA board. We also would like to thank United States Bowling Congress and the USBC board. We want to thank I Am Bowling, powered by Logo Infusion, who is the official jersey supplier, as Curtis is showing off. Also, Kegel, the official lane maintenance supplier of the Junior Gold Championships. We want to thank our athletes for providing great competition and great fun and celebrations as we saw today. We also want to thank you, the Bowl TV community, for being here with us and supporting bowling and watching along with us. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without all of you. So on behalf of the team that I talked about earlier, I'm Mike Flanagan. We'll be signing off here tonight. We'll see you tomorrow bright and early, 7 a.m., right here on Bowl TV for the opening squad of the third round of qualifying from the 2021 Junior Gold Championships here from Illinois. I'm sorry, from Indianapolis, Indiana, I should say. It starts with an I. It's late, so I'm going to get out of here. Remember, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here. Have a good night, everybody. I'm going to Illinois. Right here on Bowl TV for the opening squad of the third round of qualifying.